Hey everybody, it's Greg again. It's another edition of Unbreakable, the podcast. It is Tuesday, March 31st. And so we got to talk Phillies today. We have got to talk Phillies. It's going to be a rant of all rants. What do I need to do? Hey, by the way, I still got my Phillies gear on. Phillies less shirt, Phillies not. Because, uh, I'm not giving up. It's only 4 games, right? They suck, except for it's only 4 games. Phillies could take the next two against the Knicks, sweep the Rockies, the awful Rockies up Colorado or something. And by the end of the week, the Phillies could be something good for Pittsburgh too. Anyway, I had to come on and mention because a lot of things have been moving on. We've been talking about getting up checks. And all go back and forth with these people. So all I need to do is put my don't have to repeat myself. I'll just say watch the podcast, watch that answer all your Phillies questions. All right, let's go. Now I just wrote these things down randomly, so I'm going to be all over the place. But we're eventually going to talk about last night's game and the state of this team and the future going forward. All right, so here we go. All right, let's start. Who would you rather have, Ranger Suarez or Taiwan freaking Walker? Yeah, if you watched me for a long time, I had a show on this very podcast last year, the Taiwan Walker goodbye party. We celebrated. We had cake. We had cookies. We threw confetti up in the air because I was sure to God that we had seen the last of Taiwan Walker last year. He sucks. And everybody is like, not everybody, but some people were like, oh, Taiwan Walker, he's the greatest dude since sliced bread. He only gave up 4 runs in 4 innings. That's not bad. He stinks. And the only reason he is still on this friggin' team is because the Phillies still owe him money. And they cut Nick Castellanos. You can't play Nick Castellanos anymore. There was slop that we're seeing. They cut him loose and still owed him $20 million this year. Why didn't they do the same thing with Taiwan freaking Walker, huh? So the only reason he's on the team, let alone in the division, in the rotation, is because the Phillies owe him money and they're too stupid to cut him loose. So we, the fans, have to suffer through another season of Taiwan freaking Walker. Well, why is he in the rotation? But yes, Zach Wheeler's hurt. Hopefully he'll be back soon. Yes. Number one, they let Ranger Suarez go. Did you ever hear what Ranger Suarez? Does the name ring? Does it ring a bell to you? Ranger Suarez, who wanted to come back to the Phillies, homegrown Philly, wanted to come back. Phillies would not part with the money to bring him back. Oh, because they had Taiwan Walker in the rotation. He's going to pick up the slack. He is going to win the 15 or so games that you're missing with the Ranger. Okay? I'm just saying. Taiwan Walker stinks. Okay? And the only reason he's on in the rotation is because Rangers not. And the Phillies don't have any other young pitchers who are ready to come up from the fall. Now, they may have some pitchers in single A ball, Clearwater, Lakewood, but they're not ready to come. So they traded away Mickey, who, okay, at the time I agreed with the deal. But what good is having a closer like Johan Duran if you don't have any games to close, right? Closers are especially for teams who are on the cusp of winning something. So you give up a young up-and-coming pitcher like Nick Abel, who's only like 23, and you give him up. Okay, after hanging and sticking with him along with Andrew Painter for a long time, you trade McCain. So you just give up. Plus, you trade away a future prospect catcher, which we're going to talk about in. So getting back to the point. The reason why Taiwan freaking Walker is in the Phillies rotation right now is because the Phillies have no one better. Is that a scary thought or not? That the Phillies don't have anybody better to replace him. Think about that. Either on the roster or on the farm. The best you can do, your number 4 spot in rotation is Taiwan freaking Walker. Really? Really? That goes back to the GM, who has done a terrible job. That goes back to the owner. That goes back to the scouts and the minor league development coaches. It goes back to the ball. Everyone in the organization has to take a hand in that. If you don't have anybody better than Taiwan Walker to have anchor the number 4 spot in your rotation. Now, granted, maybe Walker won't be around too much longer in the rotation. Hopefully, once Wheeler comes back, maybe early May, Taiwan Walker goes to the bullpen, where he could just rock there, bury the man there, which they should have did all along. Okay, if you're not going to cut him, not going to release him because you want to save your money, then bury him in the bullpen. Only use him when you're losing 10-1 or you're winning 10-1. That's the only time you should pitch Taiwan freaking Walker. Okay, that's enough of him. My blood pressure is going to go way up. Sky high. I already took my meds this morning. All right. So, Justin Crawford, everyday player. Yes, Dave Dombrowski, our intrepid GM, said that over the winter. Did he not? Or am I hearing things? Justin Crawford is going to play every day. He's hit lefties very well in the modern leagues. We got to see what the kids got, right? Every day. That's why we didn't re-sign Harrison Bean, right? And you know what happens? The kid strikes out 3 out of his last 4 at bats. We know he's going to have his rough moments. He's a rookie. And all of a sudden you pull him. First of all, you put Brandon freaking Marsh in center field. Brandon Marsh cannot play center field. So the Phillies were great at that, trying to put a square peg in a round hole. He can't play center field. You saw last night. He steps back. He misplays ball. He can't play center field, okay? Billy, stop. Stop trying to force Brandon Marsh in center field. Brandon Marsh, I told you this last year, is an average player. He does everything average. And I don't care what these geeks on all the analytics they put up, launch angle, no. He's an average player. He does nothing great, even very good. Limited power, doesn't hit 300. Base running is a joke. He has an average arm. Defensively, he may play a good left field, but center field stinks, okay? Don't give me Brandon Marsh. I'm still pissed at that trade a few years ago. You traded your best prospect, Logan O'Hoppe, who honestly a catcher, for Brandon Marsh? Really? Now, don't tell me Logan O'Hoppe's turned out to be a bust with the Angels. Maybe, but who knows if things would have been different if he would have stayed with the Phillies. Maybe he wouldn't have gotten hurt. Maybe things would have turned out differently. But you don't trade your number 1 overall prospect in the whole organization, who happens to be a catcher, a young catcher, who is a rare commodity in baseball, for Brandon Marsh. You don't do it. And we're seeing that right now. And the reason Brandon Marsh is playing is because they have nobody better out there. Don't you guys get it? The Phillies have the worst outfield in baseball. The worst. Brandon Marsh is what he is. Oh, an average player. So, the GM says last year, we're going to play Justin Crawford every day in center field. That's why we didn't re-sign Harrison Bader, who would have been a great fill-in, brought a lot of enthusiasm and energy to the team, and hit very well last year. plays a Gold Glove caliber center field. We're not bringing him back, fan favorite, because we want Justin Crawford to play every day. So what does this zombie-like clueless manager do? He goes analytics on us, and he says, lefty righty, I'm going to put Brandon Marsh in center field, even though the starting pitcher yesterday for Washington was a left-handed. Duh, make it make sense. So, Phillies have no plan. The Phillies' plan is they have no plan. That's their plan. They have no plan. Because what happened to the plan that Justin Crawford was going to play every day, no matter what? What happened to that? Now, maybe by the All-Star break, if he's hitting 176, then you think about adjusting that plan. But we are 4 games into the freaking season, and you're changing your plan already? All right, then. Sosa. What was he doing against you? I get it. You want to give him the bats against a left-handed. But where's the let's play Bryson Stott? I would say Bryson Stott is in the same category as a Justin Crawford. Let's see what this guy has once and for all. Yeah, you decided not to trade Bryson Stott last year during the offseason. Okay, you're bringing back Bryson Stott. Well, I agree. Bryson Stott is a solid major league defender at second base. And I think if he stops trying to hit home runs, trying to swing too hard, and hits line drives, Bryson Stott could be an excellent player for the Phillies. He got it in his mind last year that he was a power hitter. And he tried to jack everything with the launch angle ball into the upper deck. You're not a home run hitter, Bryson Stott. You're not. Once in a while, you'll pop one, which is great. That's icing on the cake. But you're not a home run hitter. Hit line drives. Lead the league in doubles, triples. Okay? Play a solid second base. But don't try to hit everything out of Citizens Bank Park. I thought they were going to give Bryson Stott a chance to play every day. Certainly, just with his defensive load, he solidifies the Phillies infield. So, this weak manager, we will talk about in a minute, decides to play on a whim Ibuda Sosa. Now, Ibuda Sosa plays hard, and he gives you all he's got. I have nothing against Ibuda Sosa. What I'm wondering was, where was his head last night? The infield was back. Washington had a man on third, less than 2 minutes. You concede the run. It's early. If you can't get 2 runs against a rookie Washington pitcher, give up on him. Just surrender. So you give up the first inning run. You try not to have a big inning. What happens? Ball is hit to Ibuda Sosa. The infield is played back. Ibuda Sosa hesitates and then decides to throw home to get the runner who is running to the plate. First of all, Sosa, you are not playing up with the infield in. It only takes a split second to make a difference between getting that guy home and not doing it, which happened. Where was his head? And he did a couple other stupid plays yesterday. Where are these guys' heads? If he's ready to play, play. That's what you're, the super utility guy on the bench. Play. Yeah, Ibuda Sosa is not a platoon guy. He is a super utility guy. He'll play some shortstop to give Turner a rest. He'll play some third base to give Bowman a rest. He can even play left field at times. But he's not a platoon player for Bryson Stott. I'd rather see Bryson Stott hit against the lefties, wouldn't you? Don't you want to see what this guy has after all these years? I mean, if Bryson Stott doesn't step it up this year, you trade isn't as fun. But you got to know what you have. And you're not going to know what you have if you keep jacking this guy around like they did Scott Kingery and not playing against left-handers. Bryce Harper. Bryce freaking Harper. You know what? I was always a Bryce Harper fan, and I still am. I've been there personally at the ballpark for many of Bryce Harper's big moments during his Phillies career. I was there for his 300th home run, which he got against the Angels. I was there for the walk-off grand slam against the Cubs a few years ago. I was there for the Benham at the park, at the bank, home run against San Diego in the playoffs. I've been a big Bryce Harper fan over the years. And I'm glad the Phillies signed him. I still am. He really changed the franchise. He got us out of the losers doldrums that my friend Ruben Amaro Jr. helped to get us into. And he gave the franchise a winning attitude, you know? Like, he gave us some hope at least. Some hope. I mean, before Bryce Harper, were we in playoffs? Before Bryce Harper, were we even sniffing the World Series or the League Championship Series? No, we weren't. So, as long as Bryce Harper haters in there, go to hell. Because Bryce Harper, on the whole, has been a positive for the Phillies. And I'm sure the Phillies agree with that. Look at how many jerseys and sold. But nowadays, Bryce Harper, you got to wonder if his time is up. And he can't catch up to a fastball anymore, which means that teams know that. So they're thinking, especially left-handers, are throwing him not away sliders, which he's fishing for. You have Bryce Harper into a funk where he's just chasing balls in the dirt and balls above his head. Forget it. Forget it. He's done. He's cooked. He's toast. Stick a fork in. He's done. That's what Bryce Harper's doing right now. I mean, he showed that in his spurt in the World Baseball Classic by hitting the home run, the dramatic home run in the bottom of that last game, which was good. He thought maybe he would turn the corner. He's not turning the corner. If anyone needed to get off to a fast start, it was Bryce Harper. And he's not. He hasn't done it. And he set himself up during the offseason by taking I lost words. I'm just beyond myself. He got pissed. All right, let's just say, let's not sugarcoat this podcast. He got pissed because Dave Dombrowski, who I'm not a fan of, we're talking about him, really told it like he is. He said he's not elite. Bryce Harper's not elite. He's not. He wasn't elite last year. He's not elite this year. So instead of taking that to heart, we worked harder and trying to improve. Bryce Harper, like a snack ass, had a t-shirt on, not elite, the back and forth with Dombrowski, it's grow up, Bryce Harper. Come on, man. You're supposed to be a professional. If you had his guts, Bryce Harper, you would have come out and really started the season off fire, carried the team for a few weeks. But you haven't. And where is it deep inside of you? Don't question other players on this freaking team. Question yourself. Look in the mirror. I mean, are you totally toast? Are you done? You better tell the Phillies because before baseball finds out, I can trade your ass and get something for you. I don't know. Maybe Bryce Harper needs to start being platooned. Did you ever think of that? Maybe we need to put a right-handed first baseman on the days that the opposite team are pitching a left-handed. Maybe instead of platooning Justin Crawford and Bryson Stott, we need to start platooning Bryce Harper. How do you like them apples? Huh? And yet Bryce Harper, I won't move to right field. Well, I can't do that. They get Rhys Hoskins back here, who was the heart and soul of the team. And we can't do that. No. And yet, he says late last year, well, you know what? If we come up with a good first baseman, maybe I'll consider that about the right field. Like Pete Alonso, maybe? Okay, so JT and Kyle Schwarber, bad contracts, bad. First of all, I'm a big Kyle Schwarber fan. He is the nicest guy in the world. He always stops when I'm at photo night, photo day, and another takes a picture. He's the nicest guy. And granted, I wanted to get that Kyle Schwarber back. How are you going to replace 130 RBIs and 56 home runs? We all do. Kyle Schwarber is probably not going to have more than that again. Certainly not 56 home runs. If he hits 40 home runs, 45, I'm happy. Okay, I'm happy. But we're talking about a loaded guy. He can only DH anymore. Let's be frank. He can play a serviceable, if that, left field. But realistically, he's a DH. You gave all this money to, that's fine. Somebody's got a DH for you. Historically, Kyle Schwarber has had 4 equals. You remember that? With Kyle Schwarber, all of a sudden he heats up in June. June the 1st, he eats like a house on fire, right? And so we have to hope that's the case this year. But you're locked in. You're locked into JT Realmuto, who I know he's a fan favorite. The ladies love him. He sucks right now. He sucks. And he's a shell of himself. Offensively, he doesn't have the power anymore, which leads me to believe his legs. Why? Because, to his credit, he has caught so much over the years. The wear and tear on the catcher. We knew that JT wasn't going to be able to catch 150 games anymore, even 130 games anymore. If you get 110 games out of JT now, that's good. So you need a reliable backup catcher. You could count him every day. And God forbid JT gets hurt, which he's more wanting to do now that he's older. You need a guy who's going to step in there every day and be your everyday catcher, maybe for a couple months, and not lose a beat. So, God brings up to me on Twitter, look at Harper sucks. Yes, now he does. But at the time, he was the Phillies' top-rated prospect. The other guy who they traded with Nick Abel in Minnesota and Wado Tate, young catcher. Okay, great prospect. He may be a couple years away, but you don't have anybody in the system who is a young catching prospect. There are young catchers out in the market during the offseason, but our lazy bum general manager, Dave Dombrowski, failed to address that. If you remember correctly, like I do, when the Phillies blew the Bo Bichette hoist, they put all their eggs in that basket for Bo Bichette, and the Mets swooped in and grabbed them. And all of a sudden, the Phillies panicked. Within the hour, they gave JT Realmuto what he wanted. They gave him the money he wanted, plus that third crucial year, 3 years. The man's 35 years old, declining skills behind the plate, and especially at the plate, and they give him 3 years. So that locks you in right there. That locks you in. Forget the young catchers up there. The White Sox, Quintero, Teal, they have young catchers in abundance. The Cardinals have like 4 or 5 young catchers, either on the roster or in AAA. Phillies couldn't trade for one of those guys. The Orioles, they have young catchers, if not Adley Rutschman, right? It goes on and on and on. If Dave Dombrowski was creative, like the old Dave Dombrowski, he may have found a way to pry one of those young, promising catchers away from some of these teams. But no, he panics when he doesn't come through with Bo Bichette after getting our hopes up high. He panics and he caves in and he signs JT to 3 freaking years. So we're locked into JT. What do we have? Raphael Marchand, he's okay. He's okay. Don't give me Raphael Marchand, even though he hit a home run. He's okay. But he's not the stud catcher that you need. There's someday JT's not going to be around anymore. God forbid. Is he going to last 3 years? Think about that. JT Realmuto, is he going to be here in 2029? Really? 2028? Whatever? We better hope that the Phillies start drafting a catcher in the first round. And their draft pick this year may be a hydra. They better start addressing that catcher position because you can fluff off catchers. Catchers are the heart and soul of the team. They call all the signals behind the plate. They manage the pitching staff. Come on. Come on. You don't need to be an analytics geek to know that a catcher, a solid catcher, if you're solid up the middle, this goes way back to the old days when I was a kid. Solid up the middle, catcher, second base, shortstop, center field. If you're solid up the middle, you have a good chance to have a good club. Look at the two Phillies World Championships teams. 1980, Bob Boone, Eddie Trio, Larry Boa, Gary Maddox. The 08 team, Chooch, Carlos Ruiz, Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins, Shane, the Flying Hawaiian, Victorino, up the middle. Case closed. So you need a solid catcher. And that's what JT has been for us for a long time, since we literally stole him from Miami. But man's getting older. Yeah, no fault of his own. He's been a great, energetic, solid player for the Phillies for a long time. In fact, other than Dutch Dalton and Chooch, I would say JT's in our top 3 of all-time catchers. I would take JT over Michael Lieberthal, and Michael Lieberthal made the Phillies Wall of Fame. JT has been a great player for the Phillies, but he's getting older like we all are. He's not going to be able to play catcher anymore. JT's going to have to split his time at first base, if not designated hitter. Designated hitter, you're locked in with Cox Schwarber. First base, you're locked in with Bryce Harper. Do you sense a lack of plan from the Phillies? Do you think the Phillies sat down with all the brain trust in an office somewhere and said, this is what we're going to do? JT, if we re-sign him, may need to play first base or may need to be a designated hitter. So if we re-sign Cox Schwarber, is that going to affect JT's playing time? By tying up first base with Bryce Harper. Now, what about JT? I mean, have the Phillies thought this whole thing through? I don't think so. I think, to me, the Phillies are flying by the seat of their pants. Zombies. All I had to do was write there it is. Write the one word down, zombies, and I know what I'm going to talk about. Zombies. It's one thing, this team, they're going to have troubles more often than not hitting the ball. We've seen that. This isn't our first rodeo, not our first movie, where we've got this lineup that stinks, that they go on these spurts, streaks. This lineup is very streaky. When they go down, they all go down at the same time. It's one thing to not be able to hit the ball for a couple of weeks at a time. Sometimes you have problems in the field, and the defense should be solid all the time. But the one thing that should be a constant, my friends, is effort. Right now, this team looks lifeless, zombies, no spark, no energy, no life. Sort of like when Joe Girardi, remember him, was managing the team a few years ago. Joe Girardi would sit in the dugout, like, throws it off there, or his head would be down, looking at a binder that's full of analytical crap. Well, never forget, Rob Thompson is a disciple of Joe Girardi. He was Joe Girardi's right-hand man with the Yankees for many, many years. So when it comes to it, if Rob Thompson starts panicking like he did last night, he's always going to go back to what he knows best, which is analytics, and go back to the old Joe Girardi ways about. This team still doesn't play small ball. They still go for the 3-run homers, like an old Earl Weaver, like an old American League manager. But the thing that concerns me the most about this Phillies bad start, 1-3, is they look dead. The season just started. You got the Mets team up there pulling out victories in the 9th inning. You got the Braves team over the weekend just had a grand slam, a walk-off grand slam. What are they doing? The Phillies, what are they doing? What happened in spring training? I know you had the World Baseball Classic, which screwed up, but the Phillies were their own. Other teams had players out in the World Baseball Classic too, and at least they're showing a little life. Maybe the Phillies have tuned down of Rob Thompson, Topper. Maybe they need a different message. Do we see this guy getting any better as far as his everyday decisions in the dugout? I mean, don't forget what happened last year in the playoffs. I don't know what to say. It's one thing to start off bad. That's fine. But when you come out of the gate looking as lifeless and as listless as the Phillies do, something's got to change. And who do you have on the farm to bring up to light a spark in that clubhouse? If you remember, when they fired Joe Girardi, which I wanted, there were certain beat writers on the Phillies, I won't mention names, Todd Zaleski, who I got into a Twitter with at the time. He said, "Oh, Joe Girardi's going to be just fired. You can't fire Joe Girardi." Todd, and this is exactly what I said. And I happened to be at the ballpark at the time, and he was like right above me. Little did he know that he was tweeting to somebody there. I was saying, "Todd, Joe Girardi's got to go. He's got to go. He's like a robot. He's like a corpse in the dugout. Just prop him up there. Like weekend at Birdies, prop him up. He's got to go." And he's coming back to me, "Well, you don't know baseball." Yeah, right. You do. Look at all those softball questions. I'm not a fan of the current Phillies beat writers, by the way. They ask easy questions because they want to kiss the ass of the manager, the GM, and the owner, which they did last week when they were partying. So they have more stories and more access to these guys. That's basically what it is. My point is, there's a problem with the Phillies if they come out zombie-like as they are. Clueless general manager needs to get a grip. Of course, the clueless general manager has one foot out the door anyway. He wants to go back to Nashville, where he's got a home, and he hopes that Major League Baseball has a new franchise in Nashville so that he can become a part of that franchise. That's been his goal for a long time. So, but somebody, John Middleton, put the wine glass there, okay? Stop worrying about the ballpark and making it as corporate and as sterile as you can. Taking away Harry the K's. Turning the right field scoreboard into analytics haven. And all these ads all around the scoreboard. Oh, we made more room on the scoreboard. Well, I guess you would if you take out some of the freaking ads. It's the All-Star season. The All-Star game will be coming to Philly in the summer, finally. And the whole place is going to look like a very clinical, like a sterile place. You know, you took down the Longines clock in center field and you're not going to put it up again. Huh? That would be tribute to cutting that stadium. And maybe the Gen Xers or whatever the hell you call them now don't care about that. But some of us old timers do. That was a nice touch to the Phillies. Oh, just look at your phone if you want to know the time. Oh, you know what, John Middleton? Why don't you go to hell? Why don't that you can look at your phone, but isn't it nice to have the clock when that didn't do harm? Have that there. Come on, John Middleton. Wait, have you sold your soul to the devil? I mean, what the hell? And I like John. I've never met him in person, but I seems like he's a nice guy. He mingles with the fans and everything. That's fine. But come on, man. You took away Harry the Case, which people aren't going to care about in a couple of years. I get that. But, the fact that it was tradition, John Middleton, tradition. How are the new fans, the 20-year-olds, the 10-year-olds, even the 30-year-olds, going to know about the legacy of the Phillies and the history of the Phillies if you're taking all that away? They're not going to know who Carrie Callis was. They're not going to know about Calumet Stadium or Veterans Stadium. I mean, the best organizations, John Middleton, are the organizations that blend the past and the future. That's what solid organizations do. You don't take that all away from the fans because you want to make an extraness. Well, okay, you want to pay a player. That's great. Okay. First of all, you want to get free agents. You better get yourself a capable general manager who knows what the hell he's doing. Because you could throw around stupid money, as you call it, all over the place. But unless you make wise decisions with your money, you're going to end up signing, for instance, like an old beat up catcher, maybe he's 35, he doesn't have much left in the tank, and you're going to give that guy 3 years, 15 million a year. You're going to give that guy that, really? Where you could spend that money else, otherwise, elsewhere. Right, John Middleton? So before you start talking about throwing money, because you're going to take away Harry DeCays so that you can buy an extra player, maybe you ought to invest in a real general manager and real scouts who know what the hell they're doing. And we're going to draft real prospects and sign real good free agents and make really good trades. All right, I got a couple of things before I'm done. Because these Phillies, like I said, they might come out tonight. Andrew Painter might pitch a great game in his opener. And all will be forgotten. But there's a lot about the Phillies, even though you're a fan and I've got the gear on, that you can still be a fan and still be critical. Because we care. The fans care. They care. They want to turn on the TV every night and see good baseball. We're used to good baseball. We're not used to like the Ruben O'Mara Jr. era, where we had stupid, ugly baseball every night in a year for years and years and years. We are used to good baseball here in Philadelphia now. And if we can't make it out to the park, God knows we filled the park. John Middleton, we filled it. We want to be able to turn on the game every night and watch good baseball. Not the other team coming into Citizens Bank Park and crushing us with home runs. We want to see our Phillies play good baseball. And at least give us some hope that they're going to make a run for the World Series and win the World Series. That's the goal, not just to make it to the World Series. All right, couple farther for the couple finals before I go. So speaking of Harry DeCays, is this the curse of Harry DeCay? Is this what's happening this summer? Maybe. Maybe it's the curse of Taryn Hatcher. they gave her the boot too, didn't they? And you know what? I think Taryn Hatcher was this Barbara Walters or something, Diane Sorter, I think. But she was okay. She was good. She was certainly nice to look at. But, what harm did she do? Now you're going to stick Ben Davis in the back. You know what? I'm on my high horse. Ben freaking Davis, okay? Okay? Ben Davis is the nicest guy in the movie. He was down at one of our baseball events last year, the year before. Great guy. Great guy. Loves his job. Loves what he's doing. But I'd rather have Taryn Hatcher doing the dugout stuff and running around the ballpark like she did, like Greg Murphy used to do. Greg Murphy was the best at that job. Remember, he used to be outside of the Giants Stadium, Oracle Park, in a kayak, trying to get home runs, hit over into McCovey Cove. Greg Murphy went up in the Brewer Stadium and attempted to slide down their slide every time anybody was over. Greg Murphy was great. Not that he's not great at what he does now, but he was great as a sideline reporter. Taryn Hatcher was good. So you gave her the boot. And what do you have now? You're planning on having Ben Davis do that role? Why? Ben Davis, I was sick of him last night. He's making every excuse in the book for the Phillies. Oh, well, you have to give him some slack. And, well, but he tried. And stop the Ben Davis. He is such a homer. He and Tima, two big homers. At least Ricky Bo keeps it real. He wants to criticize the Phillies. He criticizes the Phillies. I give him credit. Scott Fransky, Larry Anderson, keep it real. John Kruk certainly keeps it real. Ben Davis does not keep it real. I'm sorry. And the woman out there can love Ben Davis because he puts all that product in his hair, and he's a good-looking man. Don't worry, I'm straight. But he's a good-looking man, but Ben Davis, keep it real, okay? If you're watching me, keep it real. It's okay. I know you love your job. He told us that in person when he came in to see us. I don't know if I just, well, that's good. I'm glad you do. I'm sure you get compensated very well. But the thing is, keep it real. The fans know a phony when they spot one. They know it. It's sincere person. And you are not keeping it real when you don't tell the truth about your beloved Phillies. Keep it real, Ben Davis. I had enough of it last night. I had to reach for the remote, which I hardly do. And I said, get this guy off. I couldn't take it anymore. And they're going to put him in the dugout? Come on. I don't even talk to that. Has he gotten more in the way this year? And I like Tom McCarthy. He seems to be a nice guy. But, he's another homer. And the thing is, he's just more annoying this year. He went on a rant. Now, last night, the game stunk. The Phillies were down 4-0 in the first inning. They get any better. Against the Nationals? Really? And he's going off about some Larry Boa, big head, fat head, flat head, that was stolen from the wall of the office. It's like, what the hell? It's okay. It's not really to that. You can stop talking for a while too. You don't have to keep yuck, like me. But I got a podcast to fill up. You don't have to keep going on and on and on. Just let it breathe sometimes, okay? Instead of saying stupid stuff, maybe don't say anything at all. And it's worse when the Phillies are losing and they look like zombies up there. Because then you take other things to heart and they magnify stupid stuff that the announcers say. Because you're really not paying attention to the game because the Phillies are stupid, they say. All right. So a couple final things here. The hell am I talking to you? Final thing. Okay. You like this before I go. Harrison Bader. We couldn't use Harrison Bader on this team, right? All you had to do was assure that Harrison Bader was going to play. And he liked Philadelphia. He would have resigned to Phillies. He gave him enough for this. He would have. All right. You gave Harrison Bader around, kind of like a good system. You know, if you're going to give Justin Crawford a night off, even though he said you were going to play him every day, wouldn't you rather have Harrison Bader playing center field than Brandon Marsh? You're getting more sticks than something. This sucks. Harrison Bader was a gold glove center fielder. He brought enthusiasm, energy to the Phillies next year, and he hit pretty well too. All right, he didn't do much in the playoffs, but who did? Not that many people did. Just because he had a bad playoff and you don't want to spend the money, you don't bring back Harrison Bader. Harrison Bader, if you're not going to play him in center field, he could be the right-handed platoon with Brandon Marsh in his feet. I'd rather have that than Otto Kemp. The Phillies love putting guys who can't play positions trying to fit a square peg into the round hole again. Just like they did Rhys Hoskins several years ago. Remember they tried to experiment and play Rhys Hoskins in left field? How did that work out? Not too good. Not too good. Now they're trying to put poor Otto Kemp in there. I like Otto Kemp. But, you know, why not trade Alec Bohm when you had the chance and put Otto Kemp at third until Ian Miller is ready to come up from the minor leagues? Why not? Instead, you're trying Otto Kemp in left field, and he's already misjudged how many balls already. He doesn't have a super powerful partner. You just put that Otto Kemp out there because you have no one else to play. Because your general manager failed to do his job. He failed to trade Alec Bohm, who didn't want to bring back anyone. Everybody said Alec Bohm doesn't strike out, he gives you a good on blah, blah, blah. Alec Bohm was already halfway out the door during the offseason. And now you're bringing him back and saying, oh, we'll bring you back for one more season, even though we know you're going to walk at the end of this season because we hated him for you. And so you're going to go anyway, but we'll bring him out for one more week. I would have rather than traded the Alec Bohm for maybe an outfielder, maybe another starting pitcher instead of time for giving maybe even Boston with bullpen. Trade Alec Bohm, get something for him while you can before he walks, and you put Otto Kemp at third base. What's so bad about that? It's bad because our general manager is not creative with it. He doesn't think out of the box. He's too worried about hightailing it down to Nashville when the time is right. Harrison Bader. So I'd rather have Harrison Bader. Not that he's lighting the world on fire with San Francisco, but he's going to be solid for you. Okay? 31. 31 to the Phillies, that's like a youngster. Harrison Bader's not 35 or 38, he's 31 years old. You bring him back for 2 years or 3 years, right? At the worst, he could be your fourth outfielder. This team, this front office, has no plan, no direction, and no future. Because number one, they don't know what the hell they're doing. And number two, and I'm not saying that because the Phillies got off to a bad start. I'm saying it because they were all confused all during the offseason. Think about all the lack of news Dave Dombrowski did not make during the offseason while we were waiting for him to do something. He'll say now, well, we'll wait until the trade deadline in July. Yeah, right. Like he's going to actually do something in July. Now, if the Phillies have a bad record in July, is he going to start trading away players? Is he going to trade Bryce Harper? Is he going to trade Kyle Schwarber? Is he going to trade Alec Bohm? Is he going to trade JT? I mean, first of all, who wants those contracts? And second of all, who wants these guys if they're breaking down? The Phillies do not have any forethinking. They have really little prospects in their minor leagues. If And these guys don't pan out. Pushing it all in, which is fine. You got to go for it sometimes. If you're going to go for it, then you sign a Harrison Peter. You don't rely on Otto Kemp in left field if you're going for it. And final thing, if the big boys, superstars, the guy you gave all this money to, the Trey Turners, the hell's wrong with him these days? The Bryce Harpers, the Kyle Schwarbers, the big three, if they're not going to hit, no matter what you do on this Phillies team, the Phillies are going to win the games, let alone the players. These guys need to step it up and stop talking about do this and do that. Oh, we're not worried, Bryce Harper. We're not worried. We'll come around. Really? That's what you said during the playoffs last year. Did you come around? It's put up or shut up time, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner. The window's closing. Now's the time to do it. If you're not going to do it, Dave Dombrowski, start making some phone calls and start to get rid of some of these guys. Maybe you'll get some draft picks back. Maybe you'll get some prospects back so you can finally turn the page and start rebuilding this franchise again so that we can have good baseball in Philadelphia once again. Basically, my friends, it's going to come down to these three guys. You got Christopher Sanchez and Zach Wheeler for them. Great. But if those three superstars don't hit like they're supposed to, forget. Mail in the season, I'm on the bed to pull up the covers over my head and wait for the hopes to start. Good night. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Talk to you again soon. Go Phillies.